Hello everyone, Bashar here. So I have been a little bit lax with the uploads. I normally bombard you guys with 2 videos a day. This level 100 grind is kicking my ass quite hard. As you can see, I'm not gonna say I'm not getting anywhere, but it does go mighty slow, and I have been dying a little. I think I died 4 times. Yeah, I think I'm going to do a video on that. But anyway, in this video, I want to talk to you about Omen of Resurgence versus Omen of Amelioration, and also a not so very honorable mention would be this Omen of Refreshment. This is terrible, okay, so don't even spend time on it, because when you reach low life, which is 35% or lower, it will recover your flask and charm charges. I mean, you shouldn't really be dying thanks to your potions running out, so this is mighty garbage. But what about the other? So I'm sure most of you would say, Omen of Amelioration over Omen of Resurgence, but it doesn't have to be one way or the other. So if you have, read these, that actually only one of these can trigger per instance, per dungeon, right? So why do both, right? As you can see, I'm doing both here. So the thing is, I mean, if you have a proper character, you shouldn't really be getting in bad situations, very frequently, right? And the thing is, the way I go about this is, so for example, guys, I do a map, right? I get one-shotted, I get killed very quickly. Omen of Amelioration triggers, and instead of the whopping 10%, I lose only 2.5%, right? But what Omen of Resurgence does is, when you reach low life, it heals you to full, right? So the thing is, of course, in order to make use of this, you have to have some life. So this is obviously useless for CI, aka Chaos Inoculation builds. Also, if you don't have a lot of life, it's not gonna help you a lot, right? As you can see, I have pretty low life. I mean, I'm getting like one instance of life from my entire gear, I think. And no, actually, there's a little bit, right? There's the headhunter and there's the helmet. But the thing is, at this point, my base HP would be a little below 1300, so it's not much. So why do I carry this Omen of Resurgence? So the thing is, guys, this did save me in my grind to level 100. This did save me, several hours, right? If I didn't carry Omen of Resurgence, I would have lost a lot, like 6-7 hours of worth of grinding. Why? Because the thing is, so normally when you die, right, you will get one-shotted or you will get nuked by a lot of monsters ASAP, especially with the bird. You get knocked down and you will just die, right? You will die very quickly. So then the Omen of Resurgence will have no chance to trigger, right? But every once and then, for example, I shoot them and at the same time they shoot me, right? I kill a lot of them, but the few projectiles that come my way, knock me down. There are only a few monsters surviving and I can't control my character for about 3 seconds. And in the meanwhile, they damage me, but because there aren't many of them, they can't damage me very fast. And then, I go to low life and Omen of Resurgence procs. What's that mean? I go to full life, I survive them, right? And I can go about the rest of the map rather than dying, right? But one thing though, as I said, these both can't trigger in the same instance. So for example, now I get nuked, Omen of Resurgence triggers, and then I die, then I'm gonna lose the whole 10% XP. There is that, right? There is that problem. But from 98 to up until this point, I think I had like 3 or 4 Omen of Resurgence triggers, right? And 4 deaths. Between 98 and 99, I didn't die by some miracle, but after 99, sadly, I started dying. Some of it my fault, some of it very unexpected one-shots. Anyway, though, the thing is, though, and after 98, I have done 400 maps, maybe. I'm not very sure about the amount, but several hundred, minimum 300, I would say. So the thing is, from the numbers I have given you, you realize that, me getting in a bad spot happens like, 1% of the time, which means being in a bad spot twice in a map is like 0.01%, right? Very rare. So what I mean by that is you use both of these, right? Most of the time you will just die normally when you're in a bad situation, right? But in those rare instances that you don't die and Omen of Resurgence saves you, then you have two options. You say, okay, this map is very nasty. I could die here. I will just leave, right? Because after that point, Omen of Amelioration cannot proc, right? You are going to lose the 10% full XP, which is horrible, right? I mean, 10% would
Good
be
news.
tantamount to like 10, 12 hours of grinding. Of course, it depends on how you are investing in this, right? Because if you spend a lot of currency, the grind can go faster, but it goes very obscenely and unreasonably expensive. I have been trying to cruise on a sweet spot thing. As you can see, 15%, 14%, 16% XP, 20% are insane. So anyway, as I said, you go in a map, you do it normally, then you won't need either of these, right? The important ones are the ones that we get bad spots in. As I said, most of the bad spots you will just die and you will lose only 2.5% XP. Omen of Amelioration will prevent the loss of 7.5% XP, which is beautiful, right? But as I said, rarely Omen of Resurgence will proc, and you can go about the rest of the map if you want to, right? But if you do, keep that in mind that Omen of Amelioration will not proc at all, right? You will lose the whole 10%, right? So if it's a particularly dangerous map and you are a little bit afraid, just step out, right? So this happened to me a few times, and in none of them, I stepped out because most of the time I had used the Visions of Paradise tablet. I have it here. I actually ran out. Oh no, I have them here. So you can do the map again if you complete it, right? So if I step out, this would have gone to waste, and also the map, right? So I was going to give up on two maps. So every time I braved it and done it, right, and it didn't die, right? I guess if I lose 10%, I will just quit because this is too toxic anyway. So the thing is, you can, master and, go for the rest of the map after your resurgence procs, or you can, just about. For example, if it's a, filler map, right? For example, you are trying to get to a tower, you are trying to get to a decent map, right? Just step out, right? I definitely would step out. I mean, you shouldn't get an Omen of Resurgence proc in that kind of map, but if it happens by some miracle, right, just step out, right? I definitely would do so. But when it's Visions of Paradise tablet, so because the thing is, the value of being able to do those maps is worth several divine, and the map that you put in and the tablets that you put in will be worth several divines as well, right? And more than those divines, I have one here. I mean, guys, so for example, I'm not stepping out of this map, right? These are very hard and very rare to find, and these are the core to your leveling from 99 to 100, right? From 98 to 100 as well. So yeah, I'm not stepping out of this map, but because if I step out, I'm not only losing the map itself because I'm not able to complete it, right? Then that means the Visions of Paradise will not proc, and I won't be able to do it again. So I'm going to lose the map twofold, right? Yeah. So there is that. But as I said, if it's a very nasty map for your character, you could consider that. So that's the thing. As I said, most people that realize that these do not work together don't even carry the Omen of Resurgence. But as I said, Omen of Resurgence can save your investments and XP if you are getting in this kind of situation rarely. And the thing is, if you are aiming for anything above 98, right? 98 or anything above 98, I would say. Then you kind of have to be not getting in these spots very frequently, because I mean you wouldn't be able to get there, right? So as I was saying, people that realize that two do not work together do not even carry the Omen of Resurgence, and that's why I'm recording this video. Omen of Resurgence actually helps. As I said, it saved like 3 or 4 times, and that saves a lot of XP and my maps and my resources, so it's a good idea. And I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.